After I revealed that Ford was losing $36,000 on every EV it sold, which was a shock to the company, it lost $32,000 on every EV it sold in the second quarter, and it was about $27,000 on every EV in the first quarter. You can see the trend here: 27 in the first quarter, 32 in the second quarter, 36,500 in the third quarter. That's billions of dollars in losses for Ford. What's their strategy? Well, they've also, of course, just lost more than $1 billion after the UAW strikes in North America. They're saying they're going to claw back some of their losses by doing this. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you guys. Welcome back, everyone else. So what are we talking about here? What's going on with Ford? Well, for one, guys, keep in mind Ford's in a very dangerous situation here. They've recently borrowed billions of dollars from the US government at low interest rates because they've said, a cash flow injection into the business. Now, a lot of people think, Ford's debt, it's got a lot of debt. It does. A big percentage of that debt, I believe about 40% of that debt, is Ford's lending division. So Ford operates as a bank. Basically, it has a lot of loans, lending. So a lot of people who buy Fords will buy Fords through Ford's lending division. So that part of Ford's debt would normally be good debt. But right now, car loan default rates and the number of people that are behind on their car payments is at 30-year highs. So Ford is facing numerous risks and massive losses. What it's done is it's decided, well, okay, we're just going to stop a big chunk of our EV investment. They've just cut $12 billion in EV investments. Will they actually come back to it and, say, well, we've gotten through this tough period, now let's invest it? I don't think so. I think it's pretty unlikely considering Ford's current financial situation and considering the fact that it is losing so much money on the EVs it sells. And the reality is there's just not the demand that there should be for those products because they just aren't as good as other products in the industry. They're just simply not. Unfortunately, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, it's a decent vehicle. I mean, it's not bad, but it's clearly not as good as some of its rivals. To be fair, the Tesla Model Y, Hyundai Ioniq 5, they're both better vehicles. Just simple. It's that simple, in my opinion. I think almost every journalist has said the same thing. Ford is postponing $12 billion in planned spending on electric vehicle manufacturing capacity in North America. Postponing indefinitely. It's also postponed its plans to have 500,000 vehicle production capacity by the end of this year. The move comes as Ford said on Thursday that customers are generally no longer willing to pay a premium for electric cars. But let's have some context here. Ford is referring to its electric cars, not to anyone else's. However, are customers of Ford even paying a premium for electric cars? Well, they're not really. You think about it, right? The Mustang Mach-E, the cheapest version, is $42,000. You can get a tax credit on that, bringing it down to a pretty similar price to a gasoline-powered vehicle. Ford's electric vehicle sales are growing though, but so are the sales of other automakers, and Ford's EV sales, a lot of them have been cancelled. Ford had hundreds of thousands of reservations for the F-150 electric Lightning vehicle. Ford raised the prices 5 times, and I believe a huge percentage of those pre-orders, as a result, cancelled, unsurprisingly. What this means is the pace of the company's EV sales isn't growing at the rate that Ford projected. And now we've seen things like, vehicles sitting in Ford dealerships for a long time. The average time that vehicles sit in a US dealership is around 53 days. Fords are sitting in dealerships for 120 days. That's getting worse. In Ford's Q3 earnings report, the company said that its Model E electric vehicle unit lost $1.3 billion on an operating basis in Q3, which was double its loss 12 months ago. I don't know how that's possible. The EV unit also lost $3.1 billion in the first 3 quarters of the year. So it's expecting to lose around $4.5 billion on EV sales this year. Those are some pretty big losses. If they were kind of being offset by Ford having more production capacity and selling a lot more vehicles, it would make a lot of sense. But as you can see, Ford's losses on every car are just growing. It doesn't add up, in my opinion. Something is just going wrong here. Despite these circumstances, Ford executives maintain they are not cutting back on spending on future EV models. If any, the recent results and the EV market's current state result in Ford moving through its electric vehicle plans in a more gradual manner, says Ford. More gradual manner reminds me of what Kodak said when digital cameras came out. Yeah, let's just be gradual about this. Look how that turned out. Ford CFO John Lawler described the company's plans in a media briefing. We're not moving away from our second generation EV products. So their second generation EV products are like basically a significantly better version of the Ford F-150 electric truck. They've got some other versions like the Ford Mustang Mach-E will be much better, much faster charging, better battery packs, etc. And a new dedicated EV platform. He went on and said, we are though looking at the pace of capacity that we're putting in place. We're going to push out some of that investment. We're going to push out some of that investment. So it does sound permanent to me. Part of the company's revamped electric vehicle strategy is the postponement of $12 billion in planned spending on EV manufacturing capacity. These include a tentative second battery plant at a new campus in Kentucky. The Ford executive who revealed this, though, said that the construction of Blue Oval Mega EV City will continue forward. The customer is going to decide what the volumes are. The customer is going to decide what the volumes are. Sometimes the product has an effect on that, Ford. It's worth keeping that in mind. Ford is able to balance production of gas, hybrid, and electric vehicles to match the speed of EV adoption in a way that others can't, said Ford. I'm not buying that. I don't believe that's true. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.